Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am DK Bhattacharya and we will be talking about definition, aims and objectives of anthropology. We have been as a species very inquisitive about the origin of the planet and also origin of mankind. And as early as 2nd century BC, a Chinese historian by the name of Sima Qian has thought of 4 stages of human development. The first stage, he said, was a Stone Age, and the second as a Jade Age, and the third as Bronze Age, and the fourth, of course, the Iron Age or modern history. Nobody knew that he came so close to the reality at that time, but then he was not accepted, and nobody even repeated that fourfold development of human culture after Su Qian. Dr. John Lightfoot from 1654 gave a biblical concept of human origin and the origin of the planet. And the origin of the planet, according to him, was 4004 BC on 23rd October at the civilized time of 9 a.m. This shows that the believer of the Bible and spread of Christianity always stopped a scientific investigation for the origin of the planet and of course of man. They have been always trying to stick to the chapter of Genesis of the Bible, which talks about man having been created by God in 7 days. And not only that, any scientific investigation to find out knowledge beyond the Bible was labeled as heretic, and there was punishment given to them. So man did not go beyond this Bible chapter of Genesis. But it was in Suffolk in 1754 that an excavation was being done for erection of a church when large number of bones and tools were found. And that's the first time people started accepting, with of course some reservation, that man existed beyond the biblical period of the prescribed by the chapter of Genesis. They used to refer to this period as antediluvian period. Antediluvian because they say the Joan of Arc was the diluvian period, and it was before the diluvian period that man existed. This kind of a ding-dong philosophical approach to identifying the origin of the planet and origin of man went on for about 200 years. It was later on when geology as a subject developed and the chance excavation and chance discovery of bones that started man looking at differently his history. For instance, the Neanderthals were discovered from Dusseldorf, and for the first time it was seen as a very primitive kind of a man. But Professor Farshio from Switzerland said that no, this is a man, modern man, with some biological pathological development. So they couldn't go beyond the limits set by the Bible for a long time. But then consistently after that, Australopithecus was discovered from Indonesia, and skeletons started coming up. With skeletons, lot of stone tools started coming up. So man reluctantly started accepting this scientific definition of human culture and human beings and its origin beyond the Diluvian period. One of the first development of accepting human culture beyond a period of the chapter of Genesis was done by a man called Thomson. Thomson was an antiquity collector. He was not an archaeologist, and in Denmark. And he collected a lot of antiquities and started arranging them in his shop with some kind of labeling given to them. And he gave the label Old Stone Age or Paleolithicum and New Stone Age or Neolithicum for 2 sets of stone tools. Now this inadvertently, without knowing, he had already created a calibration of human cultural history. A calibration of human cultural history without touching chronology. The moment you touch chronology, you contradict the Bible. So without touching chronology, he said this is the older cultural period, this is the younger cultural period, and the antiquities are the stone tools that was developed by man, and man used them as his only weapon of survival. Now this development continued for a long time, until about a time we developed a very detailed chronological table called geochronology of the past of the planet. So it was found out when the geochronology came up, it was found out that a period called Pleistocene began from 2.8 million years ago and continued up to 10,000 BCE. And the tools that came from within the Pleistocene was the ones that were attributed by Thomson's term as Paleolithicum. So Paleolithicum, therefore, had shown a huge duration of its stay in the entire period of human cultural and biological evolution. The cultural evolution we have put under one word and call it Paleolithicum. The biological evolution, of course, we have found as having several stages. These stages were later on given genus and species specific terms as Homo habilis, Australopithecus, Paranthropus, and so on and so forth. Many of them were put in the branches of trees, one having some relationship with the other, and clades, C-L-A-D-E, clades were supposed or proposed that these are closer to each other, belonging to the same species, yet they were not subspecies, and so on and so forth. So a very complex tree of evolution was evolved. And this complex tree of evolution talked about the development of the biological apparatus of man from the time he evolved from his ancestry of the apes. Now, these biological developments were done on measurable units, and these measurable units were called taxons. A taxon is a biological phenomena or a morphological feature which differentiates one species from the other, or one subspecies from another subspecies. These taxons were very meticulously defined morphological attributes, and they could be used as attributes of analysis. Parallel to this development, archaeologists who started getting oodles and oodles of tools, hundreds and thousands of tools. These tools had to be analyzed. They don't speak, they're dumb witness of the past. And these tools, one of the gentlemen called Boucher de Perth, he collected so many tools from Somme Valley. He was a ship clerk, and in the Somme River, ships used to ply. And whenever a ship will stop at a place for loading and unloading, he had a lot of time, and he used to go around the bank of the river and collect the tools. He drew the tools and made 4 volumes with his own money. He published them, but they were not accepted. The intellectuals from France rejected them, and they said, no, man could not have made tools because man was made only in 7 days by God. So these contradictions made a great problem for pure scientific approach to the understanding of human culture and human biology. However, after it was more or less reluctantly accepted that yes, man was evolved in Pleistocene period, and we have now date for those Pleistocene period. It is 2.2 million years when we the first time developed Homo habilis. Homo is the first of our genus, and then 1.8 million years is the evolution of Homo erectus. So we have now dates, we have now taxonomic markers for each of the stages of development of man of the past. And it has reluctantly been accepted as heretic or otherwise. These scientists have been parallelly working. But the archaeologists, they collected these oodles of tools. I told about Boucher de Perth's collection, 4 volumes in his drawings. And these collections, they started creating attributes which are parallel to taxons, in biology. And these attributes were technomorphological attributes. If they find a tool in which a specific technique of manufacture is used, they give it a label of a taxon. So you have what you call